Namaste, everyone. Back again, YouTubers. Today, we're going to talk about something that everybody is under the influence by. Karmatically influenced jobs. Guys, you can't win. You couldn't win if you tried, especially living here in America or anywhere else. Here in America, it's a lot worse. All right, so we're going to talk about karmatically influenced jobs. What is a karmatically influenced job? I don't know. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you open up a bar, it's karmatic influence. If you open up a burger joint, it's a karmatic influence. If you open up an internet cafe, it's a karmatic influence. If you open up a casino, it's a karmatic influence. There's so many versions of this, but it's all about your morality. So think about cattle ranchers. In this place, you cannot eat beef or anywhere in the universe. You just can't do it. 80% of all human consciousness goes right back into animals and mostly cows, especially here in America. Because America is one of the biggest cattle ranching industries in the world, boy, are they going to fucking pay. They don't know it. They don't have no moral compass. It doesn't exist for them. So, karmatically influenced jobs. I mean, think about money. It's a karma influenced delusional illusion. And people, this is just the way the world works. Commerce, trade, merchancy. So, being a merchant, you gotta be a slave to something. There's ways to deal with jobs here by having a job that is not karmatically affected against you or your family. But we can't tell everybody to grow their own vegetables and be vegetarians. We can't tell nobody to raise their own livestock like goats or lambs and then slaughter it properly in a ritualistic fashion because you can actually eat it. The thing about goats and lambs, they're divine principalities, just like deers and buffalo. These are karmatically uninfluenced meat or proteins. There's a system here. And consciousness, human consciousness doesn't go into these. But therefore, it's its own new consciousness. So it's a new slate. We'll get into how this affects later. But why you can only eat goat and lamb. Or deer. Or buffalo. It's all about the eyes. But as far as everything else goes, like fish, chicken, beef, pork, you can forget it, guys. You don't know what these animals go through before their death. You don't know how they've been properly treated and been handled in these processing plants. And if you found out how it was done, you would just stop eating meat altogether. Moral compass would set in. So, karmatically influenced jobs, if you're influencing somebody to get them under the influence of bad karma, you're fucked. I don't care how much praying you do. I don't care how much you go to church. We don't care how much you go to church. You have to know what you're doing. Jewish kitchens know what they're doing. They come there, rabbis show up, and they bless the walk-ins. They bless the food. It's done every week because it has to be. Okay? Where somewhere like Chick-fil-A or McDonald's, well, that shit don't happen. You can't bring religion or esotericism into a workplace because you might get fired about it, or you might freak somebody out, or you might like offend someone because demons are bitches. They act like fucking cats. They always run and scared and get up under a car and observe and then meow and hiss when backed into a corner and then get the police involved. Demons are bitches. Born into the fifth hell, this is the comfortable hell. This is the human world hell, or the human projected world hell, from what you truly are. If you're born into hell, you're not a human. You're something else. And you have to convert to Dharma. And this is what Padmasambhava was doing, was converting demons to Dharma. And he ain't talking about metaphysical demons. He's talking about actual people. Because everybody is under the influence of karma, nobody can't stop doing it. Everybody consumes, everybody consorts. So you're like animals. but cannibal animals. In the DNA of every carcass that you ever ingest is still the past life and memories, residual phantom DNA effect of that consciousness that's still remaining there. So you take themselves into you. This is just how it works. You know, you can ask Kali why she ingests bloods from the demons that she destroys so she can trap their consciousness within herself to create more hells for them to be trapped in. And they never leave Kali, nor her necklace, nor her mind. Y'all don't understand how hell works, guys. And it's not a fairy tale sense. It's psychological here. And Mara figured out ways to move consciousness of human understanding into 80% of all you guys into cows or chickens or pork. But one thing you don't go into is lamb, goats, deer, buffalo. There's a couple more other karmatically uninfluenced animals you can eat. And it sounds crazy. But if you influence it karmatically, let's say you just butcher a goat, you slaughter it, you just put it on a plate, you're still doing wrong. You got to turn it into a ritual. You guys don't bless the object that you're about to destroy. You don't bless it. You don't send it off right. None of you guys do. Except for the spiritually faithful and practice of divine worship. So, you can eat lamb, you can eat goat. But you got to still bless it before you destroy it. Then you got to bless it before you eat it. So, with this understanding, it's has to be impertinent for you guys to take it in. You got to have a moral compass here about what you're taking into yourselves. There's so much information compiled in the animals and in humans, and then you guys go nowhere. Reincarnation is real, realer than Deal Holyfield. It is about as real as you want this illusionary world to be, but it's realer than this world. You guys keep coming back and you can't get out of this place. None of you can. None of y'all can get out of here. No matter how much you pray, you got to be faithful and you got to make a stamp in here. You got to change your frequency. You got to change your vibrational frequency. That means becoming a vegetarian. That means becoming a vegan. Even vegans and vegetarians knew something. And they're like, I can't do this no more. I'm taking life into myself and death, which death isn't real. It's just reincarnation. So anyways, if you sell alcohol, any type of barbiturate, FDA, the Drug Administration, you're influencing people with spells that has them under a certain type of influence that you've lied to their brains about. Because everybody here is a projection, you're just projecting another illusion onto a projection to make it believe it to be true. But it's not. Not at all. And this is why the gurus can eat very little, drink hardly no water, and sustain for years at a time. They figured something out. Just like he did. And it's time for you guys to figure it out. It's time to wake up. This place is about to be destroyed here in 68 years. November starts 67. It's the end of the world, guys. And how much do you want to be so much karmatically influenced by what you do as far as surviving? Now, we know here in America, we know it's hard to be a vegetarian. Damn, it almost costs money to be a vegetarian. But it really doesn't. It's actually quite cheaper to be a vegetarian. That's step one of being liberated. Guys, this is serious business you're in. And you're taking life into yourself and you're forced upon it. It's forced to your kids. Happy Meals. Here, give my son a chicken McNugget pastes, whatever the hell the organic matter is. Here, let's go to a steakhouse and watch cooks get $10 an hour, barely can be able to support their families, while this steakhouse makes money hand over foot, destroying life to feed yourselves back to each other. So, you're eating yourselves. Nobody knows this. Because nobody believes in reincarnation, and especially about how it works here, because nobody does. Even Christianity teaches that reincarnation somewhat doesn't exist, but it's spoke about in it. But it's not taught. Not taught at all. But at least they told you about lamb. At least you can sacrifice a lamb. It's a ritual, guy. Everything here is a ritual. Even from the corporations that bind you by having you take your kids to get that Happy Meal and that cheeseburger from McDonald's. Oh, we shit on you guys. Fast food chains get shit on here. If you're not local, you're not doing it right. Okay? These places make money hand over fist, and they're slaughtering life hand over fist, and they don't care. Not at all. Only thing they care about is lining their pockets. So everybody's walking around as an everyday Judas, selling out God for money. So what would Jesus do? Well, Jesus didn't eat meat. Jesus didn't eat meat, guys. He's a vegetarian. He seldomly ate fish, but Jesus seldomly ate too. He's skinny as a rail, and he hardly ate. He's an extreme meditator because he was a Buddhist. And nobody knows that, or Christianity or Catholicism doesn't teach that, hey, Buddhism was a part of Yahshua's life when he went to India and Tibet and then came back and taught a simple way of getting closer to God. Okay? So anyways, karmatically influenced jobs. It's pretty simple, guys. You can work anywhere you want. We deal with the brothers in the hood a lot. And we love seeing a lot of Black Americans, Hebrew Americans, open up barbershops. Like we deal with guys that run a barbershop. They got 2 of them now. We're really proud of them. Because they found a job that wasn't karmatically influenced. And then they make their own money. So that's even more kudos to them. Here's another non-karmatically influenced job. Producing music. Unless you're like, I don't know, Slayer. You know, here's one thing about music, guys. There's tantra in music. Start singing songs and rapping songs about the right thing, because we do. We're about to get ready to drop some albums for you guys. And boy, it's going to be something that you guys have never heard before. But you've heard it before. Everybody's heard it. It's about love. It's about getting right with the Lord. It's about getting right with oneness of self and expanding consciousness. But nobody here can expand consciousness because they're always busy working at karmatically influenced jobs. So as you work at a karmatically influenced job, well, something karmatically influences you to keep making money so you can sustain. And then you put that meat on the table for your kids to eat and say, yum, pork chop sandwich. At least you're blessing your food if you come together as a family. Thank you for that. Because you have to bless everything you take inside of yourself. Even a bottle of water. Guys, this is esotericism and tantra beyond tantra. And everything here is a ritual. To the corporations that open up a business. To the purveyors that provide that corporate. The life that it gives to give to other people for them to ingest. Everybody is under the state of karmatic influence to some degree. It's about knowing how to handle food properly. Alcohol, vineyards, breweries, craft beer designers and developers. You are giving a substance to people that people don't need. You're giving a substance to people that they don't need. Now, if you ferment your own grapes, you ferment your own alcohol, I mean, shit, that's better than at least going somewhere and buying it on a regular basis from another place that's about to befall and that's about to be judged. So, if anything, guys, make your own shit. You don't have to work at a bar. You don't have to go to a bar. You can make it yourself. And at least that's what we want you to do, but don't be an alcoholic like Noah. I mean, he made his own wine. He was a drunk. And we changed that frequency when we got in his life. But at least he was a vegetarian. You know? And we're not saying that you can drink. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you work at a bar establishment and you push that beer to that person and you push that shot of liquor to that person, you just influence them by bad karma. Everybody makes excuses to go to a bar for a reason, whether they had a fight with their wife or they had a long day at work. That's not an excuse. You had a long day at work, why don't you go home and take your black ass or white ass or your Asian ass or your Mexican ass and just meditate. It's not that hard. It's the biggest stress reliever in the freaking world, next to nothing. It is the truth, okay? So anyways it goes, karmatically influenced jobs exist everywhere. All right? And it's hard. It's hard to find the right job. As he works part-time, we're not going to tell y'all guys what he does part-time to bring in that influence that everybody is so compelled and possessed by. But bills have to still be paid. But he works for God because he is Siva. He's the 13th incarnation. And I have possessed him and taken him over to get this message to you guys that I'm here to destroy illusions. That doesn't mean buildings and constructs or maps, because everything here is an illusion, even you. So I'm here to do a job. Not a terrorist. The truth. Just the truth. And it's time, because this place is so corrupted. It's so tainted. And the only way you can get away from any type of karmatic influenced job, basically you got to go to the woods and live by yourself and live off of what is already free. So the Native American principality. Native Americans knew it. Everything here is provided for you guys. You don't have to go to work. Find land. But guess what? There's another some influence karmatically that says you have to pay taxes for this land or you can't live here. Well, the Indians, the Native Americans, found that out the hard way. When they started liberating, or I wouldn't say liberating, started butchering and started murdering and raping, not only from the land that they were already here on first, that they figured out how to survive in a world that was always against them without the understanding of money. Besides Indians that trade. You can trade all you want. Pelts, marijuana, tobacco. I mean, that's the way it used to be. But you can't make it that way because, I don't know, an empire has came here and said, hey, if we build this railroad and if we instill this paper idea onto your minds, we can control society. We can get them to work for absolutely nothing but paper. Well, we had to kill a tree. Another karmatic influence job. Hey, let's be a lumberjack. Well, you're destroying life every time you cut down a tree. But y'all don't know it because you're just doing a job because, again, you're under karmatic influence. You have to get money somehow, so you got to destroy life. So you cut that tree without even blessing it. You guys are silly. And one day you'll wake up. So how can you survive in a place? It's easy to survive in hell, not under the influence of karmatic suggestion by a certain job that you're forced to be doing because you're poor or your wife says, hey, you better go get a job and you're a cook. You better do something or I'm going to leave you or kick you out. Even she's under karmatic influence to some degree because it's her job to get you men to give them a seed or a baby. And then if you don't fall through on that, they kick you to the curb. But then you got to go out and do something against your will to make her happy. Women run the world, guys, not men. This is not a man's world. This is a woman's world. Men are the trophies while women are the prize. And there's always some type of karmatic influence. Even that is a job to them. So, we're here to defend women and men, as well as we're here to tell the truth about you guys and what you do. So, what's going on? Can you think for yourselves or do you need somebody to think for you? When you're poor, it's hard to be vegetarian, right? Well, if you're poor, you can't own land. Well, if you're poor, you're constricted to only what you can get. And it's very hard. And then poor people realize I'm living in somewhere where I can't wait to leave here and go to heaven. Guys, you got to make a stamp in here. You got to go to God. You got to come to us for us to bless you. Okay? And we bless all. Whether you open up a church or you do Christian rock or rap, whether you open up a food truck, we bless you guys. You know, it's all about independency here. But corporate and soulless entities, demons, have to keep the wheel turning. The wheel has to turn here. Now the wheel is broken. And the wheel ain't turning right. By me being in this vessel, I have a job to do. That's to preach the word of my existence, heaven's existence, God's existence. There's a better place than this. This is not where you're from. And for one, that this is hell. Not as a metaphor, as an actuality, as a psychological factor on your mind. When I say this is hell, I didn't say a metaphor. I said this is a simulated, false reality built upon karmatic influence. What job do you want to do next with your life? Peace out, guys.